When I first started this little project of mine, I thought I knew how it was all gonna go. I thought I had it all figured out right from the beginning. Came in so very confident, so very full of myself. What I was gonna say, more or less how long it would take, what it was gonna be when I was done with it. Before I'd even started, I already had expectations, firmly set in place. I'll admit, I didn't have the highest of expectations from the game itself. It's not like I ever had any particular interest in playing Genshin of all things. This is not my kind of game. I take one look at this and I just have a feeling. These characters are going to be obnoxious and get on my very last nerve very quickly. And that remained mostly true the entire time, but it really didn't matter. Honestly, the game itself didn't matter. Any game that served the purpose would have sufficed, so I remained reasonably confident that my expectations would be met, that I would get what I wanted out of this. And I did, just not in any way I ever saw coming. With each passing day, it grew in scope and in scale, till it reached a point where it all blew up in my face and started to mutate into this thing. This thing that was exactly what I was looking for, but in a form that I never expected and couldn't have ever imagined. The premise? Simple. Find a game to co-op with my daughter and chronicle the shenanigans. Make a cheeky little throwaway fun time video out of it. Her and I hadn't really done too much co-op in the past. Mostly Roblox, this game called Pressure, it's one of her favorites. My eldest daughter's even joined us on a rare occasion to play it. We've had so much fun. I had such a blast playing with them that it kind of planted the seed for this. I wanted to make a video on that experience. We'd also dabbled here and there with the other Roblox games. You know which ones. The ones that are objectively terrible. But you do have a good time playing them. Mostly because they're terrible. You poke fun at it, it's a lot of nice laughs, but the actual experience itself only lasts about 5 minutes before you completely forget the thing exists. To me, that is the Roblox experience in a nutshell. It's a sea of garbage that somehow manages to be incredibly entertaining because it is garbage. But as far as a quote-unquote real game is concerned, that had been a while. Diablo 3, like eons ago. This is because the way she plays and the way that I play are vastly different from each other. So I knew that coming into this, finding the ideal game for this project would serve to be a bit of a challenge. I almost exclusively play console games. I don't play mobile games at all. The only time I ever gave it a chance, the thing ended up being a pay-to-win disaster where you had to dump a bunch of money just to be viable, and I'm not about that. And my daughter is almost the exact opposite. Almost exclusively plays mobile games, very rarely playing something on my PS5. So, by default, Genshin Impact became the choice. I wasn't really enthusiastic about this. I hadn't heard the best things about it. Seemed like a Breath of the Wild knockoff. I'd heard about the gacha mechanics. I just assumed it was another one of those pay-to-win garbage can games. I had contempt for it right from the beginning. And ironically enough, so did my daughter. She had contempt for it when she first started to play it a few months before I did. Which I suppose kind of takes us to where this story actually begins. March 2025. My daughter starts to play Genshin. Her friend is a fan, wanted them to co-op together, so she agreed. That first day I asked her what she thought of the game, and her response was something along the lines of thorough indifference. Didn't care for it, never necessarily wanted to play it, but her friend did, so why not? As the days and weeks passed by, I would periodically check in, ask her what she thought of it. Her responses remained mostly consistent throughout. The game's fine, it's whatever, it's a lot like Breath of the Wild. That didn't really surprise me. She is a huge fan of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's one of the few console games she's really gotten into. So those similarities between the two would have been thoroughly obvious to her. But then something started to happen. As time passed by, things started to change. Their sessions became louder, more animated. I'd hear the odd scream as they're scrambling to fight some boss. They would talk about the various characters, which ones they liked, which ones sucked, the ones that were coming up on the next banner. It was plain as day. She was really getting into this. She would play it more and more frequently, not just with her friends, but by herself. The sounds coming out of her phone were becoming increasingly familiar to me as Genshin. The phrase surprise baptism is now etched into my mind for the rest of my life. She also started to include me in all of this. She would sit down next to me on the bed and just casually play, show me the various characters she has, talk about the game in a general sense, occasionally have me press the button on her screen for the slot machine, hoping that she would get the character she wanted. It was around this time that the seed I had planted, which at this point was mostly an abstract thought, became a concrete plan. This was it. This was the game. Genshin fucking Impact. Genshin Impact! The last game I ever imagined playing under any circumstances, ever. The character designs alone are a natural repellent to me, and the sounds coming out of my daughter's phone, they confirmed what my eyes already knew, that these characters are indeed as obnoxious as they look. She knew it right from the start. When I told her about my idea, she stared at me blankly like, okay, sure, if that's what you want to do. The other two kids looked at me like I said I was going to join a cult, and their response was something akin to, why? Why would you play that? But it's fine. It's okay. She did have a lot of fun playing with her friends. That's exactly what I was looking for. Best case scenario, her and I have a lot of fun too. I collect some nice footage and get that video that I wanted, just as I imagined it in my mind. Worst case scenario, which technically could end up best case scenario, I absolutely hate the thing and have plenty of fodder for a lovely little hate-filled video railing on it. Either way, I got my content. So even worst case scenario is a win-win for me. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'll try to get my very own surprise baptism too. So that stupid little phrase can haunt my gameplay as well. And thus, my strange journey into Genshin begins. The co-op experience itself started immediately, even though we weren't able to actually play together just yet. My first few hours, there she was, right next to me, serving a threefold purpose: custom tutorial, tour guide, and lore master. But mostly, she was just rushing me. Go here, do this, go to the city, start this quest, hurry up and get your adventure rank up already so we could co-op together. I don't even know what an adventure rank is just yet, but those 2 first days, I was scrambling, basically speed running through this thing just to meet those co-op requirements. I was surprised. She was so excited to start playing with me, she couldn't even wait for the thing to be over. She invaded my cutscene. Look at this nonsense.
I don't know where they come from. All I know is that they hold deep hatred toward the human world.
Then, first place she wants to take us is some snowy mountain region. Sure, why not? Guide the way. All of a sudden, prompt on my screen: beware of frost buildup. Mind you, I barely come to grips with the various mechanics of the game. I've been speedrunning this thing, paying no attention, just trying to unlock the co-op. And first thing she wants to do is fight some boss with me in some snow area where I'm going to have to deal with frost damage. And on top of that, She doesn't even know where the thing is. She can't see it on her map. Her map is blacked out because she's in my world, and since my map is blacked out, I haven't opened up the waypoint, we have no clue where we're going. First enemies we fight are way too powerful for me. I am clearly not supposed to be here. This is obviously a bad idea. Let's just go somewhere else. We get out of there and our adventure begins proper-like. We're wandering around, killing enemies, generally having a grand old time. Over the next several days, we start to expand westward, stopping at fast travel point after fast travel point after fast travel point, opening them up. She's always 1 or 2 steps ahead of me, clearing out a bunch of enemies before I've even had a chance to get to them, unlocking treasure chests for me, waiting for me because she's found another one of these Oculus things that are used to level up these statue thingies. She is massively overpowered, so most of the combat encounters, especially early on, were her absolutely housing the enemy before I've even gotten a chance to get a shot in. She's riding up the sides of a mountain on a flaming motorcycle and shit, but we are having a lot of fun. We fight a couple of bosses here and there. She helps me out with a few puzzles, and everything is just great. Those first couple of weeks, they were exactly what I thought they would be. During that time, I didn't play too much on my own. A little bit of the main quest, a couple side quests here and there. For the most part, I was focused on opening up the map, expanding the territories we could explore. Generally playing catch-up. Maybe even at some point I'll get to join her in her world. I didn't really care that much for the game itself, mostly indifferent. My opinion of it was pretty consistent with her original assessment of it. Those comparisons to Breath of the Wild are undeniable. The glider, the climbing mechanics with the little stamina bar, the cooking, the running around collecting a bunch of shit all over the place. It was fine. I didn't hate the thing. Except for Paimon. Paimon. I swear, this has to be the most annoying character in the history of gaming. I truly hope that she does actually become emergency food at some point in the story. She is the absolute worst and has to go. This is one aspect of this game that I, unfortunately, was spot on about before I even started to play the thing. If I'm being polite about it, I would say that these characters are varying degrees of tolerable, some less than others. It wasn't so bad to where I had to put down my controller and never play the thing again, but there were too many times where I would read through the subtitles as quickly as I possibly could, skip to the next one just to spare myself having to hear them speak. Regardless, it was fine enough. A little annoying, nothing horrible. The co-op, an absolute blast. I was loving this part of the game, which was amazing because that was the reason I was playing it in the first place. But I didn't mind playing on my own here and there. Didn't happen all that often. When it did, I had a reasonably entertaining time with it. Then, out of nowhere, it snuck up on me. Something started to happen. As time passed by, things began to change. Little by little, I would play the game more and more. At first, for the purposes of co-op. Before long, for its own sake. I was having fun with it. The more I played it, the more I started to get into it. Soon enough, I was really loving this game. I began to appreciate its little quirks, its unique sense of identity, started to see it as its own thing, and not so much as this blatant Breath of the Wild ripoff. Having said that, those comparisons between the two games are almost unavoidable. It's hard to purge something like that from your mind when that first impression is just so strong. However, those very comparisons ultimately played themselves out to Genshin Impact's benefit. As the hours accumulated, and I've reached almost 400 of them by now, I realized that despite their similarities, there are certain things that Genshin Impact does better than Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom even. Little things like streamlining the cooking, or not having the rain get in the way of where you want to go because you're slipping all over the place. I don't understand what their rationalization was for this nonsense. I don't care if it was immersion or quote-unquote realism. That shit sucked in both of those games. But there is one thing in particular that Genshin Impact destroys most games. Period. The sheer amount of content there is. It borders on overwhelming. And no, it is overwhelming. I was legitimately overwhelmed in the beginning. I tend to be a little bit of a completionist. Nothing super obsessive, although I do like to open every treasure chest I see, do all the puzzles I come across, do all the things. Really quickly, I had to resign myself to the fact that this might be impossible. This is the land of 10 million distractions. I'm trying to focus on that main quest, move the story along, and have to ignore all these things in front of me. Otherwise, it would never happen. I'm just trying to get to that objective marker, and every 10 feet, there's another treasure chest, or a little challenge, or some environmental puzzle, or an NPC right there offering me another side quest for me to add to my already bloated list of side quests that I may or may not get around to eventually. And you want to talk about quests? Oh, there's quests. There's quests upon quests upon quests, and then a few more after that. You have your main quests, and your quests tangentially related to them, and these regional quests where you're just wandering around. Next thing you know, you're on a multi-hour epic having to do with the forsaken god of some random area or some bullshit like that. Then you have your quests that have to do with the characters, and your second tier, kind of chill version of the same thing. There's so many quests. They're everywhere. They happen all the time. It's a bit much for someone like me that wants to do all this stuff, but this really isn't a bad thing when I think about it. In some regards, you can look at this as the ultimate open world game. If you could really only play one, pick this and it will keep you entertained for months and months, and you'll still have things to do because they keep drip feeding you more things to do. During the time I've been playing, there have been not one, but 2 updates offering entire chunks of land and even more quests. I wouldn't be surprised if there are people out there that have been playing only this for the last, 5 years now? It's much. It's much. It's so much. So much lore, so much world building, so much quest, so much stuff to do everywhere. Never mind the quests, just wandering around the world itself. I love the design of this place. It's like a theme park. I love how each region has its own unique feel and puzzles and little gimmicks to it, all the while staying consistent with the established mechanics. They would introduce something new, like the ability to dive under the water, or possessing the bodies of the local fauna, and it never felt out of place or unfamiliar. Just fresh, a little sprinkle of variety from place to place. I found myself in this perfect loop where I would do a bit of questing, get kinda tired of that, then go to one of the regions and spend a ton of hours just walking around, doing whatever, getting into fights, opening treasure chests, solving puzzles, until I got tired of that place. Then I would go somewhere else, do the same thing for a ton of hours, then the next place, and the next place, until I was done with the exploration phase of the loop, and would go right back around to doing a few more quests. I've been at this for a couple of 100 hours now, and I'm nowhere near tired of doing it. I am having a ton of fun. The quests themselves have been very hit or miss for me. The main quests and the world quests I find very interesting, but those character story quests, not so much. Mostly because I don't like a lot of these characters. A few here and there. Ito is hilarious. I find Zhongli to be a very likable character, but these are outliers, so I can't bring myself to care. This is just me. I can acknowledge that. Your mileage may vary depending on how invested you are in these characters. I am not. And that's fine. This is purely subjective. I don't like them. You do. Cool. No problem. Either way, I respect the hell out of these character quests. I respect the fact that they even exist. They add to the already robust world building here, which on its own is truly impressive. Overall, the abundance of ways this game can keep you entertained is nothing short of impressive. Whether it's the combat, or exploration, puzzles, or the storytelling, there is always something to do. This aspect, the content aspect, of my comparisons to those Switch vs. Zeldas seems almost unfair when I stop to think about it. Genshin Impact runs laps around both of those games combined, but of course it would. For as much content as they have, which is substantial, they were made, done, shipped, and that was it. Whereas this, from the beginning, has had more and more and more things added, and keeps having more things added to this very day, with apparently no sign of stopping for the foreseeable future. It stands to reason that it would have more content than most games. Besides that, this comparison, which was inevitable at first, began to fade away to almost nothing as the hours packed on, barely becoming fleeting thoughts here and there that would pop in as I'm like, look at that, I'm liking this more. Things that surprised me. The combat. I absolutely love the combat in Tears of the Wild. It is my favorite part of the game. Ultimately, I ended up preferring Genshin's. The faster pace, the team-based dynamic, switching back and forth between characters, setting up these elemental combos. There's better enemy variety, and the weapons don't break. That was by far the worst part of those games' combat. It actively caused me to avoid fights that I wanted to do, but I didn't want to break my stuff. This is not the case here. The combat is also something that, much like the game itself, kind of snuck up on me. At first I was really indifferent to it, but as my roster of characters increased, so did my appreciation for it. I'd get a new character and start to tinker, see who they fit best with. I like having various teams, each with their own feel. It's kept combat fresh and engaging this entire time. There is one aspect of combat I don't like so much. Leveling up these characters is very grindy, meaning you are going to have to fight the same bosses over and over again. The fights are always fundamentally fun, but it becomes tedious really quickly. And while we're on the topic of characters, I never thought I would say something like this, but I like the gacha mechanics. I like the gambling, and I'm not much of a gambler at all. I rarely even get a lottery ticket, but I am really digging it. There's an excitement to it. I love doing a 10 pull and getting that character I wanted, or ending up with a character I didn't want at all that turns out to be really good and is now part of one of my squads. I was pulling for Mualani. I ended up with 4 fucking Bennetts. I didn't want a single Bennett. Now he's one of my top mains. I love the uncertainty to it. I love the fact that my roster could be vastly different than someone else's. I love looking forward to the next banner and seeing who I might want, who I might not want. This current banner, I've only done a pull for it once. Then my daughter revealed to me that Jean Lee is coming up soon, and I am saving up all of my pulls for that, crossing my fingers, hoping I get him. Which is hilarious because my daughter looks at me like I've lost my mind. Like, why do you want him? He sucks. She has not stopped giving me flack about this since I told her, and her shit talking is so good. Amongst my 3 kids, she probably has the sharpest tongue. She could say some pretty vicious things sometimes, and it is absolutely glorious. I've heard her talk shit with her friends in chat about the fact I want Jean Lee. Don't think I can't hear you from my room as I'm playing, you little turd. This was something I never saw coming. The shit talking, the little in jokes, the way I now use the word child with a certain tone of voice just to get under her skin because she hates Tartaglia. Or I'll call her a flying lavender melon just to piss her off when she gets too sassy. At first, this was going exactly as intended. Cheeky little fun time co-op experience. We'd hop on and we'd stumble around the map and get into fights, and it was great. But as time passed by, things began to change. The more I played by myself, the less her and I played the game with each other. But we never stopped playing together. She would be in my room on my bed, playing, doing her thing, while I'm doing my thing, and we're just casually talking about it. She'll tell me about the upcoming banner, and we'll discuss which characters we want or don't want. We'll poke fun at how stupid some of these characters look. We still occasionally co-op. We'll hop on and do a couple of domains to get some artifacts or whatever, but actually playing together doesn't happen so much anymore. It's been replaced by something so much bigger. This shared experience. Her and I have done a ton of stuff together, but we've never had this singular commonality, something that we both can relate to and we both could talk about. And that is one of the greatest accidents about this little project of mine. To think, I never wanted to play this game. Not once did that thought enter my head, nor did I think it ever would. But through a chain of events, her friend got her to play it, which got me to play it. Somehow, Genshin Impact has become one of my favorite games. Something I will keep playing for a while. Something that I ended up liking even more than Tears of the Kingdom, which is one of my favorite games ever. Something that by all rights I should hate. These characters are hideous, and their voices grate on me like sandpaper. Yet, here we are. Best part? I get to share this with my daughter. We get to do this together, and that is one of the greatest feelings ever. Few things bring such joy. For that, there is no substitute. I am so glad I came up with this stupid idea. I am so glad I gave Genshin Impact the benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, I would have never had this experience. And guess what? I know you can hear me. You always listen to my videos. Guess what, buddy? I am going to pick up Venti, and I am going to make him one of my mains just to spite you. So